This video is sponsored by BugCrowd. BugCrowd has tens of thousands of security researchers that have found over 65,000 vulnerabilities in over 300 organizations around the world. Companies such as LastPass, MasterCard, Tesla Motors, Western Union and Spotify are paying bug hunters anywhere from a simple thank you to $25,000 per bug. Become part of a diverse, unique bug hunting crowd and start your bug hunting career at bugcrowd.com/jacktutorials. Hey guys, welcome back to a new video tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how you can hack with Google. And a lot of you are going to be thinking that is a very clickbaity title. I apologise, but I didn't know what else to call it. So today we're going to be playing around with Google Docs. So if you don't know what a Google Doc is, it is a way of being able to find potential targets and stuff like that using Google. So Google isn't just a search engine. It is actually, as we probably already know, a very powerful search engine. So I'll just show you a very quick example. I've already talked about this before, but it was very, very brief. I've never done a video on it, so this is that video that I said I was going to do. So for example, if we're looking for a website that could potentially be vulnerable to SQL injection, for example, we can do something along the lines of in URL, and you can see that I've done it before, in URL index.php id equals, and press enter. So this isn't going to just search for this string. It's going to search for index.php id equals something in the URL. So you can see all of these results, they have that string in their URL. So these are all brought back from Google. So you don't necessarily have to search for a term. You can search for a specific term in a specific place, if that makes sense. And then all of these results will all be in the similar format. So index.php id equals 66, for example. And then you could go on that website and you could start looking for vulnerabilities. So that is an example of the in URL doc. So we call these Google Docs. Now that isn't the only doc you can do. There are plenty of others. For example, we have here site pastebin.com. So only search the pastebin for in the text. So that's the body of pastebin for at Gmail or at yahoo.com or at hotmail, and the data range is colon, and then I don't know what this one is actually, but you kind of get the idea. So Google is a lot more powerful than you probably already originally thought it was. So let's just talk about what Google hacking is. This is what I found, and I'm just going to read it to you because I don't know, I haven't actually read this yet. So Google hacking is the term used when a hacker tries to find exploitable targets and sensitive data by using a search engine. The Google Hacking Database, GHDB, is a database of queries that identify sensitive data. Although Google blocks some of the better known Google hacking queries, nothing stops a hacker from crawling your site and launching the Google Hacking Database queries directly onto crawled content. So for more information on Google hacking, it can be found here. I'll leave a link to this article and the other article in the description below. So I'll show you what the Google Hacking Database is. If you go to exploit-db.com, click on the Google Hacking Database, and you're there. This is the Google Hacking Database. So like exploit-db is, you can submit your own docs. You can also search docs for specific categories. So you've got footholds, files containing usernames, sensitive directories, web server detection, etc. And you also have these categories down here, so you can just browse all of the docs that happen to be, within this certain category. So for example, files containing usernames, files containing passwords and stuff like that. So let's just see an example of this. So if we click on error messages, so you can see there's 94 in the error messages category, and you have a table here that has all of the categories. It has all of the docs and the date that they were added. So for example, this one was added on the 16th of August 2016, and if you click on it, it'll say the exploit title, so Google Doc to discover OS warnings, the URL, so in URL index of driver.php id equals something, and the author who posted it. So if we just go ahead and click on this link, you can see Google will actually flag this message up for whatever reason. You can see my IP address is on display, so I need to obviously blank that out, so I must not forget to do that. So if I just put in the little verification here, you can see all the results are all warning messages. So if we go to page 6, they're all warning messages. These potentially could give off way more information than they probably should. So you can see there is an unknown column header in field list. SQL select new URL. So you can see we actually got a column. We actually got a field list here. What's the word? Column database. I think it's database. So this is an example of the Google Docs on an actual live website. So it's giving off more information than it probably should. So let's just go to the previous here. You have another one here, which is in URL expects parameter 1 to be a resource boolean given. So we can just go ahead and click that, and we will get. This one isn't as good because it can bring up things like W3 schools, but if we open this, you can see we have a lot of errors here for this particular website. Expects parameter 1 to be a resource boolean given, so that means that there is a SQL query that is executing, but the result is false because it's not a proper query. So let's just go back. So I'll show you some other examples as well. So let's go to the files containing passwords. These are Google Docs that may contain passwords. So for example, let's have a look. We've got one submitted on the 21st of September. So if we click it, it says this doc often results in backed up database.sql files which contain WordPress usernames and passwords. Obviously a very vulnerable thing to have, your database backup to actually be able to be downloaded. So if we just click on this link and we click on this, you can see we have a database.sql file that we can click, and there you go, we've got all the information. So this information is obviously going to be very dangerous to just have out where Google can easily see it. So this .sql file is a way of making it so you can rebuild your database after you delete it by accident or whatever. No one deletes a database by accident, but you get the idea. It's so you can rebuild your database. So these will be current. This is the current database, and I could open this in. Have I got Heidi? Yeah, I do. So let's just go ahead and we'll download that. So we'll go back. We'll right click that, save link as, and we'll save it to the desktop as database.sql. Quite a big database because it's essentially downloading someone's entire website. Actually, this is probably a bad idea to show on Google. Oh well, fuck it. I want to show you guys. So this is Heidi SQL, which is just an SQL browser. Actually, I'm not going to show you that, guys, because it's a live website. It'd be silly of me to do so. So that is an example as well of a Google search. Let's just put this in. A Google search that actually returns passwords and potentially, username passwords and stuff like that. So that one has an internal server error, so it's no good, and so does that one. This one does not, and that's a different website. You can just see how kind of bad this is, and you get the idea. So let's go back again, and we'll have a look at something else. So let's have a look at files containing usernames. This can be used for, word lists and things like that, if you were trying to brute force accounts. So if you click on this one, there we go. So this hasn't got much information on it, but it was submitted on the 22nd of April 2013. And we click on this, and let's see what kind of results we get. So we didn't get any results with that, unfortunately. But what that actually is trying to do is look for. So if you remember from my it was the command remote code execution video. Is looking for anything. He's looking for websites that have for some reason displaying the passwd passwd file, which is basically the username structure for Linux, and contains all the path and stuff like that. So that is probably what that one's doing, but obviously it's not working. So you need to be also aware that Google will, as you've been seeing with me, trying to block crawlers. So a lot of these tools back in the day, Google have really kind of clamped down on it, but they're not going to get rid of the functionality because it's really useful. But it also, what's the word? There used to be automated ways of doing this. So SQL Map or Uniscan used to be able to build docs together, big lists of websites that could be vulnerable to SQL injection. But obviously they don't really work too much anymore because of the bot defense that Google have put in place. So this is another cool one. So this one is the PHP version. So this will find pages containing information about the PHP installation and is useful for reconnaissance. So if you click on that, you can see that all these websites are displaying the PHP info. So for example, this one is on Linux. What else have we got here? We can see configuration file path, so we can see that it's etc php5 apache yada yada yada. You get the idea. So you can easily build your own docs as well, but the Google hacking database is pretty useful for this kind of stuff. Pages containing login portals, so these are websites where they have found like admin pages and stuff like that. So this could be useful when you're trying to find a admin page for a specific website, not even a specific website, but you want to build a list of websites that have the potential where you could brute force the username and password. But you get the idea behind the Google hacking database. I thought it'd be a pretty cool thing to show you guys. Just a quick little video, just because it was on my list of things to do, and it's kind of important for target discovery. It's a pretty good way to target discovery anyway, and you can build some giant lists with it. But yeah, have a play around with it. The URL is exploit-db.com/Google hacking database, and I'll leave a link to it in the description as well. But that's what it looks like. It's free to use. And there's plenty of stuff for you to play around with, and people are still actively posting on it, because this was posted on the 4th of November 2016, and that will give you the HTTP file server with open access. But yeah, that's the end of this video tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. Go ahead and like the video if you did, and also share the video with people you think will also enjoy it. Also, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. I upload videos every Monday, every Wednesday, and every Saturday. And yeah, so follow me on Twitter as well, that is @Jack1337. Like me on Facebook, that is Jack Tutorials, and also follow me on Twitch, that is Jack1337. And thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you again in the next one.